What's going on, guys? Today I've got something a little bit different. I was on Twitch on Saturday, I believe it was, and another YouTuber was streaming his War Thunder games. Spitty1569. Some of you probably are familiar with him. He's a subscriber of mine, and I'm a subscriber of his. And it was his first stream, so I wanted to stop by and say hi and wish him well and all that. Anyway, he hasn't been playing War Thunder a whole lot, but with the 1.43 patch coming out, he wanted to get into it and see if it was any good. And he asked me if the American 50 cals were nerfed, because he said that he was flying the premium Corsair, just like this one here, and he said that he was getting a lot of hits, a lot of sparks, but no critical damage and no fires. I thought, well, that's pretty strange, because that's not the experience that I had prior to 1.43. Some of you have seen me flying this plane several times in the 1.39 and even the 1.41 patch, and the 50 cals under the old patches worked really well. I was able to create fires relatively easily, and I know a lot of people feel that the 50 cals were overpowered, or they were overperforming, or however you want to put it. And I would probably agree to some extent. I think they were a little overpowered. But as I told Spitty, I haven't flown the new patch with any of the American planes, or this premium Japanese plane, which has the American 50 caliber machine guns on it. So this is my first attempt with this aircraft in the 1.43 patch. I have since tested several of the American planes with these 50 cals. The P-47, the P-51, the Hellcat, you name it. If it's got 50 cals, I've flown it, and the results are all the same. In the old patch, there would have been a fire. I guarantee you that. A Spitfire would actually have a fire coming from the backside. I put quite a few shots into him. He's taking a couple shots at me. I'm not that worried. It's probably important to note that I didn't really do particularly well in this match. I was really more focused on just trying out the machine guns, seeing how they worked, if they worked. Whether or not they did well, I honestly didn't care that much. I was more interested in testing the machine guns out. One of the things that Spitty brought up was that he lives in Australia, and that he has a pretty high ping. He tends to get packet loss. And his theory was that contributed to the poor performance of the machine guns. Now, oftentimes that does make it does have an effect. If you have a bad, a packet loss or a high ping, you will have issues with guns in general. But that's not necessarily the case here. The 50 cals have been nerfed. There's absolutely no question. Now, of course, I say that as soon as I knock the pilot out, but that's got nothing to do with it. You can always knock a pilot out with 50 cals, or really almost any round. That's not really the point. The point is the 50 cals under the old system not only created more damage per shot to the plane, they also created fires at a ridiculous rate. As I mentioned earlier, there's several games on my channel where I fly this plane and I set planes on fire all the time. Here's another example. Look at all those shots. No fire, no critical damage, no nothing. Just a couple of hits. There's a P-63. Put some shots into him. Same thing. Look at all those sparks. Look at all those hits. You can see the sparks on the plane. Not one fire, no critical damage, nothing. And you can see in the bottom left-hand corner my ping. It's just fine. My ping is anywhere, usually from 65 to about 150, depending on which server I'm on, of course. I'm in the US, so if I get a European server, the ping is a little higher. But you can see here that ping and packet loss is not an issue for me and my connection. The problem is in the machine guns. These don't pack the punch that they used to. They don't create fires. And I'm using omni-purpose rounds here, and that's almost all API or armor-piercing incendiary. So these planes should be combusting, but I can't get any of these planes to catch on fire. It doesn't matter how many bullets I seem to put into them. There's also no critical damage markers. I was able to get a pilot snipe there, but that was nothing new. You can do that with just about any armor-piercing round. It just feels like we went from one extreme of the 50 cals being overpowered to the other extreme, which is they're completely underpowered. And ripped off my gear leg, and my engine's dead. So if you guys are having problems with the 50 cals, you're definitely not alone. I'm experiencing the same kind of problems that you are. So you see how many shots I put into that guy. Just a little bit of fuselage damage, nothing too serious. No fire again, yet again. Anyway, let's hope this gets patched soon. Gaijin usually releases a few mini patches after a major patch. 1.43 just came out last week, so it wouldn't surprise me if we get a couple of mini patches here in the next couple of weeks to help fix whatever other issues there may be. Because the 50 cals are definitely not working as they should, in my opinion. Right now they feel about as effective as a 7.7mm machine gun would on like the lower tier British planes. And that's completely opposite of what we're used to. Like I said, we went from one extreme to where they're overpowered to one extreme where they're completely underpowered. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Leave a comment in the section below. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more War Thunder content. Take care guys.